Hey, what's going on, everyone? I got a pretty good video for everyone today. Everybody's always asking me how I do things with my setups, as everybody could see here. Redesigning the entire snake room. I'm going to show you guys a bunch of stuff here, but try not to give too much away until it's finished. You guys want to go ahead and take a quick peek, check that out. But at any rate, one of the things that everybody was always asking me, if you guys can go ahead and take a look back there, is what's with the green carpeting on the back. Alright, so what I was going to do today, and being that we're getting into the fall and the cooler months and getting into the winter, is I was going to set up Maggie's tank with the carpeting in the back. And what we're going to need to do this, guys, is you're going to need some sort of spray adhesive. You can use the Elmer's glue sticks also, but I really don't like these because they're water soluble. And anytime you're going to get, moisture in the tank and stuff like that, it might come unstuck. So I've actually liked the spray adhesives. Now you don't have to worry about any of this stuff, guys, because once it's dried, nothing is going to be toxic at all. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this, this Echo carpet. Okay, you guys can buy this. You can buy it in certain foot lengths or whatever like that, or you can buy it in a pack like I did here. Now what I got today is only really going to be enough to cover from her water bottle over to the right side. And now most people think that this is used, for the bottom of the tank, and it is, and that's how they sell it. But one of the biggest things that I like to do, as you guys always know that, is modify current products and things like that. As you guys can see, different types of modifications that I do to the tanks, including hanging hides and stuff like that, and using existing products and just modifying them to suit better needs. For instance, with a boa constrictor, you don't need this type of bedding, so you wouldn't use it. So I'm actually going to use it to line the back of the tank, and eventually I'm going to use it to line the sides as well. And what that's going to do is it's going to help insulate the tank. It's going to keep a little bit more heat in there, and it's also going to keep some moisture in there and stuff like that. On top of that, what it's going to do is it's going to cover the back side of the tank to keep the snake from looking out back. It's going to keep the snake looking forward in a direction, and the snake's not going to think it can get out in the back area there. And it's really going to make the snake feel a little bit more comfortable in its enclosure, believe it or not, guys. So what I'm going to do is we'll get set up, and I'll show you guys how to do this. Alright, so here we go, guys. We're all set up. We got our adhesive here that we're going to use, and I got a little backing that I use. Anytime that you use this, guys, make sure that any aerosol, ventilated area, make sure that the windows are open and that you're not going to spray it into any of your pet's water or anything like that. What we're going to do is we're going to set the carpet up on there like that, and then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to give it a nice coat. And you want to hold this, a good 6 inches away. And we're going to give it a nice little coat. And you guys should see it start coloring up. And once it kind of turns a little white and such, you're going to know that it's ready. You don't want to get too close with this because it won't stick right. So make sure we get the corners really good. Get those top edges really good, because if it does fall off, that's where it's going to start to come off. One thing that's really cool about this, guys, is we're not going to need to, clean the glass ever again. That particular part of it. It's just going to hold back some maintenance and things like that. And once this is on, this adhesive, it should stick pretty much indefinitely. So, alright, give that a second to tack up. And as it's tacking up, you're going to see some spots that you might have missed. I might have a little bit more on here than I really need, but at any rate, that's it. Alright, so we're going to get set back up over at the tank, and we're going to show you guys how we want to do is make sure that the glass is nice and clean and pull away any of the bark and stuff like that that might possibly get stuck onto it. Now, if you're going to do this, I actually recommend that you do it, before you put anything else into the tank, but this is something that I had been experimenting with, and that's why I didn't do it when I initially built this tank, but it's been working so good I decided to do it in all my tanks. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get this in here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hold it sticky side facing you, hold it with two hands, one on the right, one on the left, flip it around, just take it, kind of lay it backwards, And what we're going to do is we're actually going to just kind of lay it down flat, just like that. You see how that's laid down? Try and get this tripod up a little. And you guys can see how we're going to fold it back into place. So what we do is now we're just going to take it and lift it. We want to make sure that we get this right corner in. Good. You can see we missed a little bit there. Just like that. And then once we have the backing in place, guys, what I want to do is just take our hands and just kind of smooth it out and make sure it's stuck all around. And then if you got anything stuck up in the back, etc. And then you can see there's still a little bit of glue up here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take a paper towel, a little lighter fluid, very little bit of lighter fluid on the paper towel, and just right across the top, and that's going to pull off any adhesive that's on the glass that you don't want visible or anything like that. Alright, and then that's what it looks like. And then we just simply take the strub straight, push it back down to cover that up. And once again, guys, this is really good because it's going to give the snake a sense of security, where the snake can now go into the hides, not have to worry about looking behind it, not have to worry about things sneaking up on it from one side. Anybody who knows how a snake reacts and things like that, it's always going to be more comfortable if it only has one direction to look in for enemies and other predators and things like that coming. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and that's what we're looking at the end of the day. And then eventually I'll get the sides done and around behind the water bowl and everything like that. But the best way to do this stuff, guys, is to do it as you can afford it. You know, you go out, you spend $10, you know, one day you go to the pet store, you know, a month later you go out, you spend $10 more. If you try and do all this in one shot, it's going to cost a lot of money. It could become very expensive. But if you do it as a hobby and it becomes an ongoing project, you can actually accomplish all of this stuff pretty cheaply. Alright guys, that's it for this week's tank tips. And I think the next tank tip we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to replace these suction cups on these ornaments when they get burnt out and they start having a tough time sticking to the glass. One thing that's really cool, what you guys can see, is we still have enough room up top to stick our little suction cups and things like that inside the tank, get our second level and stuff like that.